A new devlog is here. There are some ups, there are some downs. Welcome to the world of game development. While working on my mobile game, I got stuck. But this one weird trick gave me a fresh start. So here's what happened. I was working on the first level, blocking out the layout and in parallel creating the modular assets. But levels were getting too big and too ambitious. I created 10 assets and felt like I needed 100 more. Even worse, I lacked inspiration to come up with new ideas and make the levels look interesting. You know that feeling when your scene just looks empty? So what's the trick? Reduce the scope by putting constraints, like brutal constraints. For example, levels must fit a 10 by 10 area. Now that the constraints are set and I'm limited in the space that I can use, I'm like a horse with a harness, I can only go forward. Making levels became easier, making assets became easier, levels became more interesting and more filled up. And as a side effect, any possible performance issues that come with managing large level just evaporated. So overall, this seems like a good fit for a mobile game. The game is based around those programs that you have to find and plug into the right device in order to solve a puzzle and reach the next place. But you can also create your own programs, and that's the idea behind those coding stations. The player can walk up to the station and will be able to create his own program by changing a few values. Let's say you need to move a platform down to pass the level. Then you need a move program. Either you find one laying around or you build one. As you make changes, you see the code on the right updating. The code will have more or less commands and maybe other hints so that the difficulty level can be adapted. The goal is that someone who never saw code before can play the game. Hit create and ta-da! Pick it up, plug it into the right interface and the puzzle is solved. What component in a computer could become an enemy? Capacitors. A capacitor is an electronic component that can be big or small and store electrical energy. What I understand from this definition is that it can go boom. So I modeled a capacitor and made an enemy out of it. I named it Corrupted Capacitor. If you get close, it wakes up, chases after you for a few seconds and then explodes. The level is filled with those capacitors, but not all are corrupted. It's always gonna be a surprise which one wakes up, so watch out. To code those corrupted capacitors, my first reflex was, oh, if it follows the player, then I probably need a nav mesh. But then I thought, what if the player jumps down? Sure, the nav mesh can handle it, but there is an easier way. Also, this enemy is alive for like 3 seconds and then explodes. So I went with a simpler solution where I use a rigid body to move and some quaternion magic to turn. Simpler solution. We are talking about quaternions after all. But it works fine now. The ducks are the bad guys in this game. The ducks know they have enemies, so they deployed security sentinels that shoot out a laser. If you touch the laser, you get hurt. It's that simple. This is clearly inspired by Portal. The game is about discovering the world of programming, so there must be bugs. Real ones. So I modeled those cute harmless bugs. They are really harmless, and they will roam the level and just hang around, just like small animals in the forest. You can even pick them up and throw them around. Also, everything that can be picked up, you can plug it into an interface and see what happens. So I will let you discover this when you play the game. The same with the small ducks hidden throughout the levels. Those can also be picked up, and the player will get some extra points if he throws them into the abyss. After all, the ducks are evil. Alright, that's all for this devlog. Since the last video, more than 200 people subscribed to this channel, so to that I say it's pretty cool. As always, thank you very much for watching, go work on your game, and I will see you next time.